Good afternoon.
Yes.
This is Monday, the 20th of October, with the Board of Supervisors work session on the revenue tax sharing discussion. Mr. CEO.
Whoops, thank you. The public response to this issue has been absolutely overwhelming today.
One, two.
I did, based on our last meeting with the city of Ukiah, I did expect 2 council members to be here and perhaps the city manager. So I'll make a few opening remarks and perhaps they'll show up while I'm talking. But before I start the discussion, I wanted to introduce today's presenter to you, Jarka Popovich from Government Financial Strategies. She has been working with us over last number of meetings between the city and the county and the city manager and myself, helping us to understand the issues relating to sharing of sales tax and how we go about collecting the data and so forth. We started this discussion, actually restarted the discussions from what your board had previously had discussions on, I guess, prior to my arrival in the county. I had made some suggestions on how to take a different approach in looking at the issue. We only briefly touched on those discussions or those presentations as we went through. I think the group has been spending the majority of its time reviewing the previous work that was done and trying to take a fresh look at what makes sense and what doesn't make sense as we go through and we talk about revenue sharing between the city and county. Part of the reason that Government Financial Strategies is assisting us is we did have some trepidation about the numbers that were being generated, and we wanted to having somebody from the outside take a fresh look at the numbers that were generated as part of this process. And I think we did find a number of interesting things out as we went through and took a look at the numbers and how they are calculated and how you can determine origin of sales tax and use tax. The tone of discussions, I think, have been very open and honest and very engaging, I think, on the part of all the participants. Although we are not at the point where we've made any recommendations that we have to bring before the board today. I think all of the members and the participants have a better understanding of sales tax in general and what the effects would be on both the county and the city if we went forward with this agreement. Part of what's not on the table that used to be on the table was there was a tie between the revenue sharing agreement or tax sharing agreement and annexation issues. That is no longer on the table. We removed that. There are very many important reasons why annexations need to occur in the geographical boundaries where we border each other, but those discussions really are counterproductive when we're trying to talk about revenue sharing. When we talk about annexation, they will have a life of their own. There are many points that need to be discussed that are very particular to each area of the portion of the city or the county territory that is being annexed, and of course LAFCO gets involved. So in all of our discussions, really annexation has been taken off the table. We have focused more on talking about a length of the agreement, a geographical area that would be impacted by the agreement, how revenues and allocation of revenues would be done, what our base year would be, how do we recover costs, and what are reopeners. So those are kind of the general context of what we've been doing. We have tried to frame, as we've worked through some of these agreements, how would we craft something that might have possible uses in other area of the county? For instance, we know at some point we might be having a similar discussion with the city of Fort Bragg. So we've also looked at it from the standpoint of whatever principles we bring forward and the methodology that we would use, would it stand the test if we wanted to do it with the city of Willits or with the city of Fort Bragg and perhaps even down in Point Arena.